friends! A couple of months ago, Austin and I went to the Grand Canyon and it was wonderful, and I shared all of these great experiences with you, but what I didn't share is the one bad day that we had, and I thought it was very important for me to get it out there and share it in case anyone can learn from it. I've told a couple of friends this story, and although it's funny now, in the moment that day, it was devastating. That's a bit much. Let's just say I had a bad day. October 31st, or Halloween, was our last day in the canyon and was the day that we were hiking out. We're pretty much packed. It just turned 6, but we want to make it to the shuttle by 2, and so we must leave now. Although our hike that day was only about 5 miles, it took me forever because I was exhausted from the previous 2 days, and this incline is ridiculous.
You did it!
I did it! The rim to rim. This is the North Rim trailhead, and we're snacking until the shuttle arrives. The hotel that I booked that night was the Bright Angel Lodge, which is located at the South Rim because I thought that we were going to be exhausted, which was true, and I didn't want to drive anywhere because it was going to be late and probably dark, which was also true. I asked our shuttle driver if he could drop me off at the lodge so I could check in, and Austin off at the car so that he could drive it back around to the lodge. I didn't have any trouble checking, and they have a great staff there. I would highly recommend it, especially if you could get a room facing the canyon. Absolutely beautiful in the morning. But when I was done checking in, I got a phone call from Austin. He was frantic.
So I'm sitting in the car. I do all the adjustments. So I did the mirror, I did the seat, got everything good, started it, put it in reverse. All the stuff popped up, the video popped up, hit the gas, it backed up, put it into drive, started rolling backwards.
What?
Yeah, I was terrified. I was starting to try and call you pretty early. I was freaking out, and then someone was behind me, and that's when I was like, okay, I need someone. I need some help.
Not only was he not able to turn the car back on again, but he was also blocking the traffic in the parking lot, and I could hear horns honking in the distance as I hobbled myself towards where he was. By the time I got there, there were not just good Samaritans, but great Samaritans that were around the car trying to help Austin troubleshoot already what was happening. I'm not a mechanic, neither is Austin, but we do know that the electric parking brake on this brand new 2022 Jeep, we were not able to turn it off or disable it. We tried jumping it, we tried rocking the Jeep, which we found on Google was a troubleshooting method and should have released the parking brake. Nothing. And as we were troubleshooting all of these things, time passed with the lights on of the car and the engine not being on. It just killed the battery too.
I don't think it was necessarily the battery. It may have been an already low battery, and hence why it wouldn't start again, but why did it shut off?
Why indeed?
No idea.
Because again, I'm not a mechanic. My contribution was making phone calls throughout all of this. My first call was to the car rental company, and they did not help me at all. In fact, couldn't help me, or that's what they told me. But here is where my mistakes then turn into lessons now. My first mistake was renting from a very small company that's not one of the bigger brands like Enterprise or Hertz or anything. I didn't actually know how small this company was until I called, and they said that I would have to get a tow from the Grand Canyon to Phoenix. My second mistake was not getting even the lowest level of insurance that was offered by the rental car company, because I was always told that my own car insurance or my credit card would cover me if anything were to happen. I did not have the type of credit card that would be able to help me in that situation, and I was counting on my own car insurance. So they were my second call. Which is when I found out that my car insurance does not cover me outside of my home state of Texas. And because I was in Arizona and not Texas, they couldn't help me either. Meanwhile, Austin was getting the car towed to the on-site mechanic at the Grand Canyon, where they worked on mostly their commercial vehicles like buses. This is around the time where we started calling for tow truck estimates from the Grand Canyon to Phoenix, because new car rental was so small that they only had the one office in Phoenix, which was 4 hours and 235 miles away. If you haven't had any experience with tow trucks, I envy you, because they charge basically by the mile. All of the estimates that we called about were around $2,000 or $3,000. So instead of paying the lowest level of car insurance at the car rental place, we were going to be paying thousands of dollars. We were also considering towing the car just halfway to Flagstaff so that we could change the battery, but we didn't have enough confidence that that was actually the real issue. This was around the time where I remembered about AAA. I submitted the account information on a form online. They called me within a few minutes to get the whole situation, and were beyond helpful. We had already reached out to a couple of tow truck companies and got those estimates, but they went a step further and contacted even more tow truck companies to get better rates. There are a few different levels of a AAA membership, and each of them allow for some amount of free towing. We had the highest amount, which meant that we had 200 miles of free towing. That still left 35 miles, but 35 miles would be much more reasonable to pay for than 235 miles. After that, it was just a matter of waiting for the tow truck to arrive, so Austin and I went to have an early lunch at El Tovar. Our tow truck driver was so friendly, was so great, very talkative, which was a good thing because Austin and I weren't and aren't really very talkative usually. What an adventure.
What a way to leave the grandfather.
We learned that he had a license to carry because it made him feel safer. Sometimes he would be towing trucks out in the middle of nowhere, Arizona. We learned about his family. We learned that he was a breached baby. And about halfway to our destination, just south of Flagstaff, the tow truck broke down. I know. Like Tokyo Drift over here. While we were in the tow truck, I was looking up other more reputable car rental companies because it wasn't just that experience that was bad about this one. It was also our entire interaction starting from pickup. So I just wanted to start fresh. Which is where our next lesson comes in. I definitely did not know this before, and even knowing it now, I'm not sure it's gonna stop me, but I didn't know that there was an upcharge for car rentals that closer on airport grounds. Like I said though, I'm not sure that's gonna stop me in the future, but it's good to keep in mind.
I always tell everybody, if you're gonna rent anywhere, always keep at least their basic, because that covers the vehicle and also covers the roadside. And it has 100% guarantee. So he might hear other people, oh no, I have my insurance, but it doesn't cover everything when you use your insurance because it's already.
Life 101.
That's what it is. And now you're gonna tell your friends, oh no, anywhere you go, just please get the basics.
I will tell my friends. So all of that was from 6 p.m. on Monday to 8 or 9 on Tuesday. It was an entire day gone, an entire day that I had scheduled other fun things, but instead we got to spend it in a tow truck dealing with that. Definitely not something that I would recommend, but if you can avoid it by learning from my mistakes, then that's wonderful. Let me know in the comments below if you have had any similar experiences with car rental companies, or if you have any recommendations or suggestions for next time. And thanks for hanging out. I will see you next time. Bye. Are you?
Bark, bark at the park.
It looks poopy outside.